Hello and welcome to another episode of My Own Worst Enemy. Hopefully one or two of you have made it this far. We are getting ready to start turn 5, and I don't really have a lot of, I caught the big error in the last episode in post-production, so don't have to address that. And I'm not going to really talk about any other errors that I made yet. There was one with Washington, but we'll cover that when we get to the move Washington phase. So what we're going to do is just jump right in, and this is going to start turn 5. So as you can tell already from what's on the screen, it's snowing. It's snowing, and you can see these guys have built themselves a fire. That can only mean one thing. It's a winter turn. Okay, it probably means two things. I've been playing around with Tabletop Simulator again and trying out new effects and stuff. But no, it is turn 5, and that is a blue box. And a blue box means that it's a winter phase, and that's going to mean we're going to have to go through this winter attrition check with the Continental Armies when we get there momentarily. We do still have, I think, well, there's a couple of Continental Armies over here, so we do have a couple that are still out there. All right, so let's jump right on in. And I do remember that from previous turns, we had some units that were due to come out further up the turn track. This was another event that we drew. I believe it was, well, I'm not going to go hunt it down, but it was an event that basically you place some of your units in the prisoner of war box along the turn track, and then they get to come back out when you reach that game turn. So these Hessian units will get to come back to the available force pool, so we're going to put them in there. I did not forget to do that. I thought I would. That just means I'll screw something else up later on down the road. Okay, and let's go right into the game. And I have no money. I spent everything last turn. Like I said, that's kind of rare for me to do that. But if we look, we see turn 5, I get 14 pounds. So we're going to go to mark the 14 pounds here. And then we're going to follow the news event for turn 5. So let's go see what's going on in the news. And you'll see our target state is still New York. And the reason they have this 5 in the black is, again, that's to indicate it is a winter. Do the winter attrition check for us. So let's take a look at this event. Oh Lord, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. Yeah, well, Hortalez, no, okay. Let's just look it up. Somebody can tell me how to pronounce it in the comments below. The wily French set up a fake corporation to funnel private aid to the American revolutionaries from the French and Spanish governments. Add 2 smugglers to the Caribbean. Okay, that is horrible news for us, because if you've been following along, where am I going here? The fire distracted me. If you've been following along, I have not been doing too good with stopping these smugglers from filling up these sea zones. In fact, there's still 5 out there, and now we're adding 2 more to the mix, so that's not good. Bad news this turn for us. So let's go right into the smuggler phase. And we are going to place 2 smugglers, and it looks like one's going to be a privateer, because you always place the privateers first. And when you place the privateer, he's going to go to the lower of the 2 zones rolled. So why don't we just grab these 2 guys, and we're going to place them. And there's 2 of those, so we're going to roll, and that privateer is going to go to 2. Well, he can't go to sea zone 2. You can only ever have 2 smugglers in any given sea zone. So I think, if I remember correctly, I'm going to get the rule book out here, but I do think this means you just don't place it if it's if you already have 2 smugglers there. And rule 5, yep, a maximum of 2 smugglers may occupy 1 sea zone. A die roll that would put a 3rd smuggler into that sea zone has no effect. Do not re-roll. That smuggler stays in the Caribbean. Now, what I don't know is, does that mean the privateer would go to the Caribbean? No. Let me, privateer Caribbean. Place the, well, it says to place him in the lower. So to me, we rolled lower. That was a 2, so he should have gone in there. I'm going to put him back. in the Caribbean, and this other one goes to 6. So he's going to come down to Sea Zone 6. So we have smugglers in every sea zone except 1 and 3 now. So that's not good. Okay. Moving right along. Still no French out there, so we get to attack the smugglers. And what have I got? Well, if you remember from the last turn, we had some of our ships get sent away for other duties, and that just leaves us with Hal and Graves here. It's a strength 3 and 4. Where do I want to attack? I believe New York is the current target state. Yep. So there's no smugglers there. I'm not too concerned about what's going on in New England. I am kind of concerned about what's going on in the Chesapeake. So we're gonna, yeah, I'm gonna take one of these guys. Let's take him to the Chesapeake. He's going to try to eliminate one of these smugglers. He's strength 4, so he's going to have to roll a 4 or less. And then let's send this guy, Graves, strength 3. I'm either going to send him to Sea Zone 4 or Sea Zone 6. And let's send him to Sea Zone 4. No real logic behind that. I'm just going to send him to Sea Zone 4. So let's start with Sea Zone 5. Hal's going to attack this smuggler. He's got to roll a 4 or less. Come on. And he rolls a 1. That's good. So Hal will go back into the harbor, and we will remove one of these smugglers from the Chesapeake Bay. That's good. And now Graves has to roll a 3 or less to get rid of this smuggler. And he rolls a 3, also good. So he'll go back to the in-harbor box, and the Delaware Bay smuggler comes back to the Caribbean. So that was pretty good. We'll take that. That's another one of our better luck situations there with the smugglers. Much better this turn. Okay, moving right along. Still no French, so we don't shadow. And now we go to the winter attrition of the Continental armies. And I'm going to turn to the rulebook. Page, well, not page, Rule 7.0, Rule 7.1 to be precise, winter attrition. At this time, we check to see if any of the Continental units survive the harsh winter. I think we have, moving all around the map here for some reason. So I think we only have 2 Continental armies right now. They're both in Virginia. And we have Lee is out there. So looking at our notes, we're going to roll the die, D6, and they survive. Well, let's see, where did it go? Oh, well, see, I told you wrong. No, actually, I didn't tell you wrong. I told you right. But what this number means in the turn track, the black circle does signify that this is, in fact, a winter attrition check. But the number inside is what we need to look at. And what that's telling us is, in order to survive, the unit must roll higher than that survival number. So here, basically they got to roll a 6 to survive. So this is actually good for us. Now there are some modifications that could take place here to modify their roll. And they're in Virginia. I don't know if they're going to get any or not, but so some of the modifications. George Washington is present in the state. They would get to add 2 to their roll, but George Washington is up here. He's not in Virginia at the moment. Unit is in Carolina, +2. Unit is a town or fort, +2. So they are in a town or fort, so they get to add +2. There are no Indian units in the state. They would get to add +1 if there were. And if the unit is in Virginia, they get to add +1. So because they're in Virginia, that's +1, and because they're in a town, they're going to get another +2. So they're actually going to get +3 for their roll. So they're trying to roll 6. We'll start with Lee. He's got to roll a 6, and he gets +3 to this roll. So let's see how Lee does. Well, looks like he survives. It was higher then, right? Yes, so he survives. And now this other Continental, okay, he survives. Okay, well that wasn't so good for us. So they get to stay. And I believe that was all the Continentals we had outright. None hiding under the stack here. No, okay. Well, that could have worked out better for us, but it didn't. So we go to the Amnesty Phase. So the prisoner of war box, Amnesty. Any more than 5 get to go back to force available pool. So for us, we do have more than 5. We have 6. So one of these gets to go back to the forces available pool. And I'm tempted to grab the horse unit. The only reason I hesitate is he costs 3 pounds to bring back out, but I'm going to do it. We're going to bring him out. He's probably going to come out anyway, but that's the only reason why I was hesitating. And the Continentals, they only have 4, so they do not, there's no amnesty there. We're going to move on to paroles. And this is where you count the lower of the 2 sides, and you basically get to parole that number on each side. So here are the Continentals. There's 4 Continentals. So that means we can parole those 4 plus 4 British units. So the question is again, which 4 units do I want to parole? And looking at this, well, we definitely want to get this one and the Loyalist because they're pretty strong units overall. And then I'm just going to grab, since these are all the same, there we go. Those are our 4 units that we're going to parole. So I'm going to grab these, and they're going to go back into the available pool. These Continentals will go back into the Rebel force available pool. And they're in, so we have one lonely British foot unit up in the prisoner of war box. He'll just have to stay there. And that takes us to the unit purchase phase. So we have 14 pounds. And we must purchase Hessian units first. So we know we're going to do that. And those are, that's going to be 1 pound just to get them out. So that will take us down to 13 pounds. And you know, I just noticed, and this must be a new thing in Tabletop Simulator. I noticed that it used to be when I picked up a token like this that you would see a shadow below it, but now I'm seeing a shadow and it looks like an actual marker appears where the marker will land. So that's pretty cool. I actually like that. Tabletop Simulator just continues to improve. This is, I'm addicted to this. And if, and actually I kind of have another game I'm working on for you guys that I think you're going to find interesting. I don't know if I'm going to start it before I finish this game. I might. It looks like viewership is dropping off. I don't know. In fact, if you guys want to tell me in the comments below if you'd like to see me continue this and actually play to the end of this this game of Don't Tread on Me, let me know. I'm inclined to do that anyway, but I would just like to hear some feedback if you guys would like to see how this plays out, or if you'd like to see me start another game, or maybe have both running at the same time, maybe have 3 running at the same time. Just let me know. So we do have 13 pounds left we can spend, and I'm going to take a look at the map because looks like, so New York is the target state, Washington is there. I do want to hold on to New York because it's the target state. If you remember, we have to hold the target state plus 2 other states to keep that Liberty Bell from moving. So our problem spot right now is Virginia, so let's start there. They're in a town, so we're going to be looking at the this number 3, this third number on the counters for the town. So their total strength is 3, 4, 5. So they have 5 strength points in Piedmont. So we want to try to boot them out of Piedmont. So we look at the unit I just bought. The Hessian unit has 2. And And these foot soldiers are very inexpensive. So that would get me, oh, this one's really good. This white band is 4 in the town, and he is 2 pounds. So what do I want to do? Do I want to try to, 5. Well, let's go ahead and buy this guy. And that's going to drop us 2 pounds. So now we're down to 11. And that would give us 6 strength points if I just put those units in there. But I'm going to try to really take back Virginia. So let's buy this guy. Take us down to 10 pounds. And I'm going to put this stack into Piedmont. So we will try to take back that. Still have 10 pounds left. I'm still buying and placing units irregularly. My apologies again. I don't know why. I prefer to do it this way. So New York, I think this is farmland. They're at a 3. I'd like to get some more units into Virginia and Carolina because we know we're going to have Continentals coming into those 2 states. It's possible they could come into New York through campaigns, so I'm not really too concerned about that as much as I am Virginia and Carolina, although I probably should be. So what I am going to do, 10 pounds, I really want to get one of these horse units back out. So we're going to pull out one of the horse units for 3. That'll get us down to 7 pounds. And these loyalist units are a pound each. Let's get them out. So that's 2 more pounds. We're down to 5 now. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and grab this foot unit for another pound. That'll take us down to 4. And that's gonna be it for now. I'm going to now place these guys. And where do I want them to go? So like I said, we know we're gonna have Continentals coming in Chesapeake, which may or may not be reinforcing what's already there. This is a stronghold area. I'm going to, let's put these are both 2 in farmland. Let's just put one of these in our, I'm tempted to put, now let's put him in the stronghold here. Now I wonder why this shadow isn't showing the counter like when I picked up the game turn counter or the pound marker counter. I wonder why that's not showing. Oh well, I'm going to have to figure that out later. I kind of like it showing the shadow where it's going to land. Maybe because I have this, these are, you probably noticed these are snap 2 points, so maybe that has something to do with it. Okay, and then I want to get another, let's put this, well, so this isn't a town. Let's put a stronger unit in the town. Let's put this guy in the town in case the Continental comes in there. The horse unit I'll be able to move around if need be, because I am going to leave some money this time. Although the Lee unit is out there, I've got to be careful about that. So let's put decisions. We're going to put this loyalist in Carolina, and I'm going to put this horse unit. I'm either going to put him in Pennsylvania or Virginia. And there's a chance, like I said, if we don't take back Piedmont, we lose that. There's a chance of campaigns taking place that could really hurt us. And of course, they could also do that in Pennsylvania, I'm assuming. I'm going to have to go with Virginia. And again, the only reason I'm going to do this is because the Continentals are going to come in to into Virginia. And do I want to go in? Do I want to go in? Yeah, let's put him in. Just thinking. Let's put him in the. Let's put him in the wilderness. He's got a strength. He's got 4 strength points, so that's better than the 3 he would have in Hampton Roads. And I'm just thinking if there's not an exchange, if they retreat, we may get another shot at them if they go in there. So let's put him in there. Did I deploy everyone? Looks like I did. I still have 4 pounds. I could buy another horse unit or foot unit here. This would only be 2 pounds. This would be 3. Would take us down to, yeah, leave me with 2 or 1 pounds left to shuffle and do the loyalty increasing later. I'm going to regret this, but I'm going to leave that at 4. I'm going to leave that right where it's at. Yeah, I'm going to leave that right where it's at. I might try increasing some loyalties or something, or maybe even moving some units if need be later. And then, okay, so now we come down to unit deployment. And this is where, let's go back to unit deployment. This is basically, this is just where this is what I've been doing wrong. This is telling me now you get to deploy those units you just bought, but like I said, I've been doing it as I go along. So that's going to take us down to unit movement. And this is where you can move to any county within the state at no cost. So we could shuffle these units around, and I could actually could move this Hessian unit down to Tidewater, which would fill up every county with a British unit. Could do it at no cost. I'm tempted to do this. Actually, not the Hessian unit, this foot unit. That would almost guarantee that wherever this Continental comes in, we're going to be able to battle him. I think I'm going to move this British foot unit down to Tidewater. So that's going to leave a strength 0.3 Hessian unit in the wilderness, which is good, and it puts a strength 0.2 British foot soldier in Tidewater, and now every county has a British unit in it. They're spread thin. I don't like that, but it's just the way it goes. And then, do I want to move anybody else? I don't think so. Maybe up here in New York. No. Just gonna leave that alone. This guy I'm gonna leave in the Philadelphia area. We still have Congress in flight from last turn, which is good. And then here, I'm not going to make any adjustments there, so we're good. We are good with unit movement. Forced march, beware of Lee, and Lee is out there. So Lee is in Virginia. He's actually in Piedmont, and we do have a horse unit in the adjacent county. So forced march is when you can move to another state, but there's a chance that the unit will not survive, and unit would not survive on a roll of 6. It's not as bad as it sounds. He would just go to the force pool, but he would have to take him out of our hands, which wouldn't be good. We can't force march Indians, and we could put them in an enemy county, but there's also a chance there that, well, actually I think you add to the die roll that they would survive if they move into that enemy territory, but I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to leave everything where it's at. And again, beware of Lee. We have our horse action movement here. So we got our horse guy, our horse unit is in Virginia. So when you do the horse action, you can move your horse unit to any county and any state, including Quebec, at no cost. You have to be careful of abandoning states when you do this. But I only have 1 horse unit, and I'm limited where I can move him. I can't move through Piedmont, so I think that's what that's telling me. Is I couldn't move him to any of these states above Virginia because this Lee unit would block movement this way. So remember, it's kind of these counties are laid out in a linear fashion. So I could go down. I could go to Carolina, to any of these counties in Carolina, or I could move him into any of these counties in Virginia. But I could not move him in Piedmont or up through New England. So, and I'm not going to anyway. I'm just going to leave him there. But just kind of to be aware, there's the Lee unit. He does interfere with your horse action. And now we come to the place Washington phase. And this is where I made a mistake last time and really just forgot. And because what happens is, so in this phase, in the British ground phase, to place Washington, we're going to determine which of these 3 leadership boxes he's going to be placed into. And it's and it works the same too when you get into the next battle phase. But basically, it's you look for the state that has the most British units in it, and that's where Washington's going to end up going. If there's ties or there's no British units in the states, then he would go to the current target state. So, and there's a note that says if the current turn is in New York under siege turn, then Washington has to go to New York. And I've always played it that means if New York is one of these target counties, and that's not true. There's actually, if you go to the turn track, there's actually late game. It tells you that turns 11, 12, and 13 are actually turns where it says New York City. There's a New York City siege, and so what it's saying is these are the turns where Washington would go to New York. There's not just because New York is a target state, but it actually has to say New York City siege. So in this case, Washington's going to go to where the most British units are concentrated. So it's looking like between New York and Virginia, it's going to be one of those 2. And I have 5 units in Virginia, and it looks like I have 4 units in. I'm sorry, 5 units in New York and 4 units in Virginia. All right, none hiding under that, none hiding under that. So he's going to stay in New York. And I think actually, see, I put him there last time thinking, well, it's a target. It's a city, New York City siege turn, so he's got to go there. I think he was actually supposed to go to Virginia in the last turn. And I put him, because I thought it was, current. New York was the target state. It was not the New York City siege. So I put him there by mistake, but that's okay. I think it hurt us more than it hurt the rebels. Just be aware of that. Be aware that it's not target state in New York. He goes to New York when there's a New York City siege in the later turns, 11, 12, 13. So he's going to stay in New York. We're going to leave him there. That's the place Washington step. And now we go to our first battle phase, where we, of course, will be the attackers. Starting with New England, no battles there. We have no units in New England. So we go down to New York. We have units in New York, but there are no rebel units in New York. So we come down to Pennsylvania. We have rebel units. We have British units in Pennsylvania, but no rebel units. So come down to Virginia. And we do have units of both sides in Virginia, so there will be a battle in Piedmont. So let's get to the battle. I'm going to bring out our British forces. And I think there's 3. And then we will bring out the rebel forces. And they have 3. It is a town. And what is the current loyalty of Virginia? And it's very low. It sits at 2. So we'll mark that on our militia table. They're currently at 2. And I don't believe there are any adjustments to this roll. I think it's just going to be a straight roll. No Indians or Hessians in Virginia, just a straight roll. On the militia table. So let's see what we get. A 1. So it's that's bad. So we get none, and they're going to get 3. And that's because their loyalty is so low. That's why we want to get that loyalty up. And that's why I held on to that money. If I have anybody survive, I may try to increase their loyalty a little bit. Okay, so we've got our militia show. Our militia is present. We are in a town, so it's we are attacking. So it is 5 plus 0 is 5. And they have 5 plus 3 is 8. And this is going to give our percentage, as you'll recall. It'll put us on the 50% table, because you always round down. And that's that. And then we roll to see how well or not so well we do. We're attacking. Let's use the red die. And we roll a 6. DR. I believe that's a defender retreats, and they're defending. So that's excellent for us. That we got lucky there. So they are in the Piedmont County, this county. So we're going to turn to the retreat rules, because it's very specific retreat orders here, retreat priorities, and let's see where they go. So they're not British, so we go to step 2. Otherwise, retreat to a county containing only friendly units. Well, there are no counties that contain only friendly units here in Piedmont. So otherwise, retreat to an empty county. Only rebels can do this. Remember that. But an empty county, and there are no empty counties adjacent to the Piedmont, so I don't think they can go to Hampton Roads. I know it's one county, and I've said that before. Units will always retreat one county in the highest priority direction. And I'm pretty sure that applies to when the rebel units get to go to an empty county. So we go to 4. Otherwise, retreat to a county containing units of both sides. And there are none of those. Does not contain units unable to retreat are eliminated. So with the exception of, they're either eliminated or they would go to this empty county. And like I said, it's one county, so they're eliminated. So now, yeah, I'm not sure. That's not too clear to me. This is a little different, and although it says one county, so all right. Well, we're going to say they're eliminated, and what that's going to mean is this cause unit comes back into the force pool. Lee and his friend are going to go back into the force pool, and we are going to go back to Piedmont. We won that battle. Oops, not the battle marker. The battle marker didn't win that battle. We won that battle. So we're going to go back into Piedmont. We're going to reset the militia, and we will get a victory point. We will get a loyalty increase from that. So this is going to go up to 3, which is good. And that is that battle. So that was good. That worked out good for us. Okay. Moving right along then. So we go down to Carolina, and there are no battles to be fought there. So that will rather quickly bring us to the Place Rebels phase. And we start with the form the committees of safety. So we're going to roll a d6, and that will tell us where this committee of safety will go. So let's see. And of course, if we roll a 6, there's 2 of these will go into the current target state. So we hope we don't roll a 6. So let's see what happens here. We roll a 1. So we bring a cause unit into state 1, and be very careful with C zones and states. It's state 1, not C zone 1. So he's going to go into not a random county. I think there's a priority here. No, it's random here. That's right. See, there is a priority when you get to reinforcements, but not here. He's just going to go into a random county. So what county will we place him in? County number 1. So he's going to go in here. And that was our cause placement. Now we're going to deploy the Continentals. And we roll a d6 to see which sea zone we will start with. So let's do that. Starting with sea zone number 3. And again, be careful here. This is sea zone 3. Nobody, no smugglers. So we go down to sea zone 4. Nobody. So we go to sea zone 5, the Chesapeake Bay. It's sea zone 5, which links to state 4, Virginia. You saw the last turn where I really confused myself by this. It's easy to do if you're not paying careful attention. These blue lines are here for a reason. So there's one smuggler. That means I'm gonna shuffle this because we're gonna randomly. Whoops! I turned off my interface. We're gonna shuffle this, and then we're gonna randomly draw a Continental, and he's gonna go into a random county in Virginia. So let's pick that random county. He's gonna go in County 2, which is here, Tidewater. All right, continuing along, there is a smuggler in sea zone 6, so we're going to grab another random Continental and place him into a random county in Carolina. So let's see where he goes. County number 3, so that is here in Carolina's Piedmont. And that was sea zone 6, so we circle back around to sea zone 1. There's no smugglers there, so we go down to sea zone 2. There are 2, so we're going to draw 2 Continentals. And sea zone 2 connects to New England, so the first Continental will go into County 4. And the second one will go into County 1. All right. And that brings us back to 3 where we started. So that is our place the Continentals, deploy the Continental Army Units step. And now we move George Washington again. Now it's the same rules apply here, but you're looking at the where'd it go? You're looking at the number of rebel units. So you want to see where there's more rebel units in these 3 middle states. There are none in New York. There are none in Pennsylvania, but there's 1 in Virginia. So he's going to go to Virginia. Let's make sure. Yep. He's going to go to Virginia. Okay, so turn Benedict Arnold. Well, he's not out there yet, so we go right into our second battle phase. All right, so starting at the top, there's still no battles in New England. There will be no battles in New York. Pennsylvania, there will be no battles. Virginia, there will be a battle again. So in the Tidewater, we're going to bring our units out. There's our British and our Continental. They're in the Wilderness in Tidewater. In Virginia again, and their loyalty is at 3 now, right? Yep. So we're going to mark their loyalty at 3. And in Tidewater, it looks like there's no modifications to this militia check here. George Washington is present, but all that means is if we win this battle, then their loyalty will not increase. So it's just going to be a straight roll again for militia, but this time it's going to be on the loyalty 3 mark. So let's see what we get. We roll a 4, so a 4, we get 1, they get 2. and we fight. And this time they're the attackers. So we are in the wilderness. So they're attacking at 2 plus 2 is 4. Sorry. No, that's correct. So it's 2 plus 2 is 4. So 4. And we are at 4, 5. Good thing I put that horse unit in there. See, he's got that 4 strength points in the wilderness, and plus we have militia, so we have 5. So that's 4 divided by 5, and they are on the 65% combat result column. And they are attacking. So we'll roll that evil blue die to see what they get. And they roll a 5. That's a counterattack. Okay. So with the counterattack, you move to the 100% column, right? Let's double check. Yep, 100% column. Ignore the odds, ignore column shifts, and leave militia in place. So we are counterattacking. It's still in the wilderness. So our strength is 4 plus 1 is 5. And theirs, I bet theirs is the same too. It's 2 plus 2 is 4. So it's simply 5 divided by 4, which will put us on the 100% column. And we attack, but we're not going to use that blue die. We're going to use our red die. And we roll a 6. That's defender eliminated. That's awesome. Okay, so this defender is eliminated. He goes back into the force pool. And this battle is ended in our favor. Reset the militia. We won a battle in Virginia again, but Washington's present. I can't move their loyalty up. But we won. That's huge. I'll take it. Okay. Some housekeeping here. That was Virginia, those battles. So we move down now to Carolina and resolve the battles there. Well, there is a battle in Carolina, so we bring the battle marker back out, and it's going to be in Piedmont. We don't want to move the smuggler into Piedmont. That would be interesting, though. Okay, so we put the battle marker in. We are in Carolina. We do get a +1 on the roll for militia because this is a British stronghold. So Carolina currently is way up here. Nice. Their loyalty's at 10. So we're going to mark this at 10. Means we will get a +1 to our militia roll. So let's see what we get. Let's see what shows up for us. So we get, we get a 6. Can't go any higher. We can't get a 7. I wish we could. So we get 2. They get nothing. Nothing. Okay, that's good. So they are attacking in the wilderness. So let's see. They are at 2. Just 2. That's all they get. We are at 3 plus 2 is 5. So 2 divided by 5 is a very, very small number. So they're going to be on this 50% column or less. I'm sorry, the less than 50% column. And they are attacking. So they roll a 1. Attacker eliminated. Okay, we'll take that. So they go back to the force pool and we hold Piedmont. So that was nice. These battles are working out for us. This is getting scary. I don't think I've had this last turn where we held the Liberty Bell in place, and now we're winning battles. Maybe we're turning this thing around. The winter is being our friend here. So we won a battle in Carolina. Their loyalty marker will increase, and yep, it'll go to 11. It can only go 1 more, but we're doing good in Carolina. So that, I believe, will do it for that battle phase. There are no more battles to be fought. Nice. Oh, okay. Everything. Well, let's reset this, and let's move right on along. Okay, Reconvene Congress, if it is in flight, and it is in flight. So let's see what we do to reconvene Congress. Nope, sorry. So this was, and I did get some feedback on this also. If you remember, I stumbled here last time. This actually, this Reconvene Congress, and this is an old sequence of play I think I printed out here for this. This isn't here anymore. If you buy the game, you have a current version of the game. This only occurs now in the logistics phase. I think it's logistics phase, or is it the Liberty phase? I'm going to check real quick. I think it's the Liberty phase. No, it's saying it is in the logistics phase. Yeah, okay, it's in the logistics phase now. It was moved. It used to be here, but it was moved to the logistics phase. So we will not reconvene Congress quite yet. We will go to the dread conduct rebel campaigns phase instead. Ugh, I don't like this phase because it's usually the most painful for me. So if you remember, we're going to roll two dice, and that will tell us if we have 2 minor campaigns or a major campaign. And I'm going to get my notes out so I can interpret the results for us here. So let's roll and see what happens. We roll a 2 and a 4, so that's going to be 2 minor campaigns. States, not C zone, so you go to State 2, which is New York. So that will be here. And 4, which is Virginia. You know, and I just realized another reason why that's so helpful. If you look at where that shadow drop is, it's saying if you let go here, it's going to snap into Boston. If you let go here, it's going to snap into Vermont. If you get it where it doesn't highlight those, you can set it down right where you want it. So that's actually useful. Again, tabletop simulator, awesome. And we're going to clear this because we are going into our minor campaigns now. But first, we have to reinforce the rebel units. So if 2 states are campaigning both minor, the reinforcements are 1 randomly selected Continental Army placed in the lower number state, and 1 cause unit is placed in the higher number state. And these will be placed in a certain priority. And so we're going to grab a random, I'm going to shuffle this again. Okay, we're going to grab in the lower state, we're going to place a Continental, and the cause unit will go into the higher number state. So let's place the Continental first. And there's a priority here. So we look, and it says in the lowest number rebel occupied county. Well, there's not any rebel occupied counties. So we go to the second condition. In the lowest numbered empty county. Well, there's not a lowest empty number county in New York. Continue right along. In the lowest number British occupied county in the state. This will be by necessity the 1 or 1-2 county, which is true. So he's going to have to go into this first county. And we go down now to the where do we go? We go down now to the this cause unit, and he's going to go the same order. So lowest number rebel occupied county, there isn't one. Lowest number empty county, well, that would be Hampton Roads is the lowest numbered empty county state. So that's where he's going to go. And then we move along to our campaigns. So I'm going to go start with, New York. And this is important for us. We want to hold on to New York because remember, that's the target state, and we need that to stop the Liberty Bell from moving again. So British, yeah, okay. Rebels launch a minor campaign. So they are going to attack. And again, it's a priority order. Well, it says it attacks the British units already in the same county, so this is pretty easy for us here in New York. There's going to be a battle in, well, the frontier. So let's move this marker to the frontier. And we're going to have a battle. So New York is currently at, they're at 11. which is good. And let's see what sort of adjustments to this militia call we'll have. It's a loyalist stronghold, so there will be a +1 to our roll. There are Hessians in the state, and I don't know, I think that's, let's see. Don't know if that causes if it has to be in the same county or it's the same state. So let's take a quick look at that. The call for militia rules, and where did it go? Okay. The Indian and Hessian effect. If a battle has any Indian or any Hessian units, subtract -1 from the militia die roll. Okay, we will get a -1 from the die roll here for the militia call. So because of the loyalist stronghold, we get a +1, but because there are Indians involved, it's going to be a -1. So no bonuses for us for the die roll, and no penalties either. Just kind of cancel each other out there. So rolling on the New York loyalty of 11 column, we get a 4. So we get 2, they get 1. So we get 2 militia showing up, they get 1. And it is in the wilderness, so they're attacking. So it is 3 plus 1 is 4. So they get 4. And we are at 3 plus 2 is 5. So they are attacking on the 65% column. And let's hope this attack goes as great as their previous attacks. So let's see what we get. They rolled a 2. Attacker retreats with the possibility of pursuit. Okay, so let's look at our retreat priorities again. I should know these by heart by now, right? But I don't. And I'll forget them as soon as this game is over. Or this turn is over, actually. Okay, so it's not British units that are retreating. It's this Continental, and he's in this lower number county. Okay, so otherwise retreat to a county containing only friendly units. He can't do that. Otherwise retreat to an empty county. He can't do that. Can't retreat to a county containing units on both sides. So he's going to be eliminated. Well, now hold on a minute. So I gotta be careful. This is in the wilderness. And here's the exception. See, I almost missed this. If a battle takes place in the wilderness or in the lowest numbered county of the state, then retreating rebel forces are not eliminated but scatter into the woods. So they go back into the rebel force pool. So, okay, that means they won't go into the prisoner of war box. So they will go back into the force pool. They scattered into the woods. So, but that's okay. We still won. We're going to bring that back. Put our Indian unit back in New York. Loyalty will increase because we won the battle, and it will go up to 12. And that was that minor campaign. So that worked out good for us. And now we go down to Virginia. And I think these are, oops. Oh, it's this Kaz unit over here, way over here. So let's go back to the priority of attack for this Kaz unit. Attack British units starting in the same county. No. Attack the nearest British forces to the left. So he's going to come into south side here. So he's going to march over into south side and attack our loyalists. How dare he? All right, so let's bring the battle marker out. And our Kaz unit and our loyalist is out. There are no Indians or Hessians this time. We are in a stronghold. We will get a +1 to our militia call. I don't think Washington influences that. I'm going to look real quick. Trying my hardest not to mess something up this time. But you know I will. It's just bound to happen, but that's okay. I do appreciate feedback on errors that I make, ones that I don't catch especially. Okay, so Virginia, they're currently at 3, which isn't good. We're going to try to get that up though. So they're at 3. We do get a +1 to this militia roll. So let's see what we get. We get 4 + 1 is 5. I think that's going to be good for us. We get 1, they get 2. We get 1, they get 2. That is good for us when you consider what could have happened. So we'll take it. And the battle begins. Farmland. So they're attacking, because remember, they're on a minor campaign in the farmland, which is the second number on the counter. So they're at 1 + 2 is 3. They get 3, and we are at 2 + Did I just screw that up? Nope, we're at 1. It's 3 and 3, right? Make sure. Farmland, 1 + 2 is 3. 2 + 1 is 3. And that better be on the 100% column, right? Okay. I'm sure some people are cringing when I actually take the time to do these numbers on the calculator, but it's just at this point it's I'm sticking with it. It's all part of the learning process, and it hammers home the fact that you're on this. It's a percentage. Okay, so it's on the 100% column, and they are attacking us. So what do they get? They roll a 2. Attacker retreats. So. With possibility of pursuit again. So we go to our retreat priority again, and it's not British that are retreating. So we go to the second step. Otherwise retreat to a county containing only friendly units. There are none. And so we go down to 3. Otherwise retreat to an empty county. So there is an empty county. He can retreat to Hampton Roads. So they're going to do that. They're going to retreat to Hampton Roads. So this was a, I'm going to do some housekeeping here. I believe this was a victory for us. So I think we should get the, well, we don't, because Washington's there. So we wouldn't get it even if it were, yeah. I was going to say we're supposed to get 1 loyalty, but Washington's there, so we don't get any loyalty increase in Virginia. So, but what we do get to do, and this all gets reset. Now there was a rebel retreat with. We have the option to pursue. Well, let's see. He's in a town now where his strength points are a grand total of 1, and we are at 2 if we march into that town. Yeah, let's pursue. We are going to pursue and refight the battle. So we are still in Virginia's 3 loyalty. It's not a stronghold, so we don't get any kind of a modifier for this roll, so it'll be a straight roll on the militia table, and we roll a 3, so they get 2, we get none. Okay, that's not good. So we are attacking in a town, so it's let's bring him out. What are we doing? There's a battle going on. So, get into the battle box, how dare you. Okay, so it's 2 + 0 is, no, I'm sorry. Oh, no, we're attacking. I'm not sorry. Not sorry. It's 2 + 0. We're attacking at a grand total of 2. And they are defending at 1 + 2 is 3. This looked a whole lot better before I marched in here. So we're attacking on barely on the 65% table. So here we go. We're attacking. Let's use that red die and see if we get a favorable roll. Okay, now the red die is going to do it to me. We roll a 1, which is an attacker eliminated. That's not good at all. All right, so he goes to the prisoner of war box, and they win the battle. Rats. Wait a minute, there's a blue die in the county. Does that matter for being eliminated? I don't think so. I think that's only, let's see. We're not retreating, so it doesn't really matter. So he's going to go in the prisoner war box. This gets reset. And they won. Washington's there, so they do get... we do lose loyalty in Virginia. That goes back down to 2. Okay, that wasn't good. And that concludes that minor campaign. The successful one for the rebels. Briefly, let's look. I don't think Washington does anything. I don't think they get an extra. Let's see. I don't think they won the battle. I don't think it means anything. With Washington being there, I don't think that. I think it's just 1 loyalty decrease for us. Okay. So that's that. That's the minor campaigns. And we move on to the logistics phase. Let's make darn sure that we didn't forget any battles. Nope, I don't see any opposing forces in any of the counties. So we go to trading with the enemy. And this is where, in states where there are lobster foot units, these red units, lobsters, we can trade with the enemy to increase loyalty. And let me turn to the rules here. I believe here we go. We can now spend any remaining pounds on improving loyalty in any state as long as there is a lobster unit there. And so it tells you in Rule 243 exactly what a lobster is. Let's make sure we're not assigning a lobster status to someone who's not. So a lobster unit is any red colored unit marked as British, or, well, no, not or. It just has to be a red colored unit marked as British, regardless of any flag or band on it. That makes sense because that's why the lobsters were called lobsters, because they were wearing red. Okay, so going back to the actual rule on this though is so wherever we have a lobster unit, we can spend a pound, and for any pound spent in that state, we can increase the loyalty of that state, and we can do this up to 4. We can do it up to 4 if we had 4 lobster units. I think that's the way it is. Is it lobster units per county? As long as there is a lobster unit in that state. No, so it looks like the number of these +1 modifications is in the state is limited to the number of counties in that state currently occupied by lobsters. So yeah, you would have to have a lobster in the county to do this, but to a maximum of 4. So, and I said I was going to do this because Virginia's loyalty is so low. So we can do it. We could do this in New York. I'm not going to do it in New York because we're already at. We are at 12 loyalty in New York, so that's fine. Pennsylvania sits at 3, and Virginia's at 2. Carolina is also high, as they're at 11. We're not going to worry about that. So I can pay, starting with Pennsylvania. I can only do 1 for Pennsylvania because I only have 1 lobster unit there. So I could pay 1 pound and increase their loyalty by 1 in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pay 1 pound and increase Pennsylvania's loyalty to 4. And we are down to 3 pounds now. And so in Virginia, I can do this twice because we have a lobster unit in 2 counties in Virginia. So I can pay 2 pounds and increase the loyalty of Virginia by 2. And yeah, I'm gonna spend 2 pounds. I'm gonna take us down to 1 pound and increase the loyalty of Virginia by 2. So let's take them from 2 to 4. And I think that's all I want to do. Yeah, that's all I can do, right? So that is that. And that's why I held on to some money that time. like I said, it's usually a good idea to do that, because once you get back to this logistics phase, there are times when you're going to really want some money to do to do some of these things. And as you can see, now we're down to the naval transport step, where I can pay £1 per British player unit to transport. And you can also units at sea can be landed or transported for £1. So I don't think, and so when you transport, I think this is to any state, any county where there's no enemy units. So I'm going to verify that for us. For naval transport, all British player units may now move to any county in any state, as long as it does not contain a rebel unit. And that's where you would pay this £1 to do so. And I have £1 left. And I could do this. I could move any unit in any state. So I'm looking, because I do have £1 I could spend here. And I could shuffle some units around. And why I'm hemming and hawing again is, looking at the board, Pennsylvania is fairly empty, and that's going to be the target state for turn 6. So it's tempting to move a unit from, say, Carolina or New York into Pennsylvania, just to kind of start shoring up Pennsylvania. Do I want to do that? We've got all these units in Virginia still. Oh, it's tempting. It really is tempting to move a unit to Pennsylvania, especially one of these guys from New York, because as of now, this may change, but there's no smugglers in the Long Island Sound, Season 3. I'm really tempted to move one from the south here. Maybe this Hessian unit into one of the farm counties, not into the leadership box. So we can bring this Hessian unit up to one of these farm counties, because he's strength point 3. And I don't think there's a restriction on transporting the type of unit here. Let's double check. All British player units may now be moved to any county in any state. It doesn't say anything about not moving Hessians, so I think we're good if we want to pay the £1 to do this. And let's spend all of our money. Let's spend £1 here. Let's move this. Do I want to move the Hessian unit? And I'm hesitating again, because you remember, when you have a Hessian unit in a state, it kind of has impact on, militia roles and things like that. I don't care. I'm going to move this Hessian unit to Quaker County, because Quaker County will, if you remember, in Quaker County, no militia will show up, because they're not going to fight. So let's put them in Quaker County. Let's do that. Let's get rid of all our money. Okay, there you go. And I'm not going to transport anybody else, because I can't. I have no money. And then we come down to step 3 of logistics phase, which is naval reset. So that's move all of our Royal Navy units in harbor back out to sea. What's everybody? So we're going to move everybody back out to sea, and I'm going to hope like heck that an event doesn't force any of these away, because I really would like to keep all 4 of my frigates this time to take care of these smugglers that keep popping up. And that is that for the logistics phase. That'll take us to the Liberty phase. Continental Isthmus expire. No, they don't, because that's not one of these turns. Did I forget to reconvene Congress? Yes, I did. See, I'm trying to forget to reconvene Congress. So my memory isn't quite as bad as I thought. So after you do the the naval reset, the next step would have been to reconvene Congress. And really, it should say that step 4 should be just that. So really, it's where'd it go? This reconvene Congress under G should be under I, under naval reset. It's in the rule. It's in the updated rules, and I think there's a I think there's actually an updated sheet for this detailed sequence of play. I'll have to go look and see if there is. Maybe I'll import it and replace this one. So let's reconvene Congress, because we're supposed to do that in the logistics phase. So reconvening Congress, if it is in flight, which it is, we're going to roll a die, and based on what we roll is where it's going to go. So well, let's just roll it and then we'll look at where it goes. We do remember from last time that if we roll a 6, it will remain in flight, and the Liberty Bell will actually go down by 1. So that would be nice. So let's see what happens here. No! Okay. All right. We rolled a 6. And if we look at the rules, it says if there was a roll of 6, Congress remains in flight, and you must immediately move the Liberty marker 1 box to the left, or in our case, 1 box down. Oh my goodness. I so rarely see that happen, and we've seen it twice in a row now. I don't know what's going on here. Amazing, but we'll take it. So Congress is going to remain in flight in this alternate universe American Independence War that we're seeing happen here. That's excellent. Okay. So we reconvened Congress. We moved our naval units around, and we have no enlistments expiring, and now we go to determine state control and move the Liberty marker again. So if you recall, we check to see if we have control of the target state and 2 other states. Well, the target state is still New York. We are in full control of New York, so we only need to control 2 other states to prevent that Liberty Bell from moving. And we control Pennsylvania. We control Virginia. Nope, we don't control Virginia. But we do control Carolina, so we do. We do, to control a state. Yep. I'm just double checking to make sure I'm not forgetting anything again. That's the theme of this of these turns. To control a state, we must have the only units in it. Yeah, we know that. Your objective each turn is to control at least 3 states, one of which must be the target state. Well, we did. If you fail to meet that objective, then the Liberty. If you meet that objective, I'm sorry, which we did, the Liberty marker stays put. If you fail, then we would advance that by 1. So it will not advance. In fact, it went down by 1. Again, that's amazing. So it won't tick back up. So it's double good for us. All right. And now we perform last minute state loyalty modifications. And we have to be careful here too. So when we do this check, we check to see, there's several things we're going to check here actually. So starting with New England, well, New England's loyalty will go down because it's rebel controlled. Well, it can't go down anymore, so it's not going to go down. It's going to stay right where it's at 0. So we're going to go to New York. And New York, we control it, so that'll give us a +1. If there are Indians or Hessians in the state, that's going to reduce it by 1, but no more than 1. So even though we have 2 Hessians and an Indian unit in New York, it's still just a -1 for having any such unit in the state. So it's 1 for holding New York, -1 for having Indians and Hessians in it. So it's 0. Washington, Congress, or Thomas Jefferson are not there, so they're no effect. So basically, New York's loyalty will not change. So they're going to stay at 12. And we're going to come down to Pennsylvania. We get +1 because we control it. Again, though, there's a Hessian unit there, so it's a -1 because of their presence. So 0 again. So Pennsylvania's loyalty will stay at 4. So we'll come down to Virginia. it's British held. No, it's not, because there's a guy's unit. So it's not going to change. So we'll go down to Carolina. It's British controlled, +1, but there's a Hessian unit there, so it's -1 for that. So Carolina's loyalty will not change. It will stay at 11. So those are the last minute changes to state loyalty. And then we determine control of Quebec. Well, it's been quiet since we had the event. Nothing's happening in Quebec, so we still hold it. And then we check for victory or defeat. Well, Liberty Bell is nowhere near 9, so we're going to continue on. No, we're nowhere near defeat. And then we go into the random events phase, where we're going to roll for the random event. And so because the invasion of Quebec happened, it's telling us we're going to roll 2. And these guys are still burning their fire because it's winter. So we're going to roll 2d6, and this will give us our random events. And we roll a 10. So we roll a 10. Tar and feathers. All right. Did we have this one last time? Or recently? I know we had this one fairly recently. Might have been last time. Nevertheless, I will read this again. Tar and feathers, mob violence, and oppressive state laws drive loyalists underground or into exile. Roll 2d6. The corresponding states decrease loyalty by -1 if and only if at least one rebel unit is present. So, let's roll our 2d6. So roll. We roll a 1 and 2. And that states New York, New England, and if there is one rebel unit present in either, and there's not, so no effect. And if we had rolled doubles, it's telling us that the state would have lost 2 loyalty. That would have hurt. And then if you roll a 6, there's no effect. So no effect for us here anyway, because there are no rebel units present in either of those states. So that's good. Indian atrocities. This event applies to British, Hessians, loyalists, or Indian forces, all of who committed some sort of war crimes during the conflict. Okay, so this is telling us to randomly pick one state. All right, I can't do this one-handed. I'm looking at the rules and trying to scroll at the same time. All right, we're gonna roll for a state. And it can't be 6 because there is no state 6, remember. It only goes to 5, and it tells us, well, if you roll a 6, roll again. Let's roll again. That looks like a 2. So that's New York. So we've rolled New York. Atrocities. Randomly pick one state that has at least one of the designated armies in it. So New York does. It has both, actually. It has all. And then reduce that state's loyalty by -2. So what this is saying is New York's loyalty is going down by 2. Now that's not good because New York was increasing so steadily there. And they're at 12 right now, but that's saying, no, they're going to go down to 2. Is that right? Let's double check. I know it's right. Yep, it has at least one of those designated armies in it. And, okay. All right. It is, whatever it may be. So, Dutch smugglers, 15-7. I think they're going to, where are we going here? Dutch smugglers, 15-7. The neutral Dutch will trade with anybody. If there is a smuggler in the Caribbean, place a smuggler or privateer, if one is available, in a sea zone of the player's choice containing less than 2 smugglers. Okay, so it's telling us to go to the Caribbean and place a smuggler in a sea zone of our choice. My choice would be no sea zone, but I'm guessing that's not an option. And it's going to be placed this privateer because he gets placed first. So it's my choice at least, and it can't go into Massachusetts Bay because there are already 2 smugglers there. So the question is, where do we want to place this smuggler? Like I said, nowhere, but I guess I got to place him. I don't want to place him in C-Zone 4, I can tell you that right now, because that's going to be the target state, and it's not, we don't have a whole lot of units in there. I'm going to place him in, I think in Carolina is probably our safest bet. You know, actually, no, I think Carolina is our safest bet. Let's place him in Carolina. Right, yep, okay. All right. I don't want to place him anywhere, but we're going to place him in Carolina. And so that's it. That's our events, our random events for turn 5. And that takes us to the end of turn. So we advance the game marker up to turn 6. That's going to bring this guy out in turn 6, which will be good. This comes back up to start the next turn. And there you have it. So just like turn 4, turn 5 went amazingly well in our favor. I don't know why. Not sure. Maybe it's because I'm maybe it's because I'm missing rules right and left. I don't know. But usually, even when I miss rules, I still do poorly. That's good. So we do have a build-up taking place in New England. That may not be so good. We've been lucky with the campaign rolling. We've been rolling a lot of minor campaigns. When you roll for those major campaigns, that's when you see these units spill out of other states, and it's it can be scary sometimes. A lot happens with these major campaigns. So we're looking good. We only have 1 cause unit in Virginia. We hold Carolina, Pennsylvania, and New York, and of course the rebels hold New England. Not bad at all, except for these smugglers. We got to do something about that. And as you just saw, we survived the random events phase with all of our ships intact. So that's good. That is good. What else? When we come back, it will not be snowing, and these guys probably will have put their fire out because it's not a winter turn. So we'll continue on from there. And I think that's it. Hopefully you're still enjoying this. Hopefully you're still enjoying this playthrough of Don't Tread on Me. I am. Like I said, I really do enjoy this game, and I do want you, if you can, leave feedback, either over at Armchair Dragoons, and I've started a thread over at Armchair Dragoons with Don't Tread on Me in there. So do come by and talk about Don't Tread on Me, but also come over and let me know what games you'd like to see, or if you'd like to see me finish this one, or maybe start another in parallel to this one. I've already picked out the next game. It's it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting one. I think you guys are going to find it fascinating. I know I did. It kind of surprised me. There's some surprise there, and it's going to be really interesting. I've never played this game that I picked, and it's it's going to be interesting. I can't say that enough. So anyway, leave comments below. If you don't want to go to Armchair Dragoons, shame on you, but if you don't want to go to Armchair Dragoons, leave some comments below and let me know what you'd like to see. And let me know if you, like I said, you'd like to see me finish out Don't Tread on Me. I've got a feeling I'm going to finish it out either way, because I'm still having a fun time with it, even though I've made some errors. And I'm really curious now that I'm doing as good as I am, if that's going to hold. Historically, it doesn't. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it will. Maybe we'll win this game of Don't Tread on Me. All right. Thank you again for watching. As always, I'm Mike, BB Mike on the forums. And I will see you next time.